course, for economists, there's demand and then there's supply, and we look at where it meets in the middle. Now, at the moment, of course, we're at the absolute peak of the supply cycle in Sydney. Now, it's no secret, we've had a record period of apartment development, which is great. Where do you think all the jobs have come from? What do you think has kept our economy ticking over? Where do you think that has created the supply for all this demand we've had from first home buyers and migrants and all those other buyers that have got into the marketplace taking advantage of low interest rates? It's this development. I mean, Sydney is constrained. We have to go up. I mean, I think Sydney side has realised this because, we've got the Blue Mountains, we've got the National Park, and we've got the Hawkesbury River and the Pacific Ocean. Where can you go? You go up. And Sydney has always had the highest proportion of units to houses of any of the capital city markets. So Sydney side is sort of like the idea, or don't have to be convinced of the positivity of apartment living. But apartment living, used to be a factor perhaps of affordability and, amenity that appealed to maybe, singles or young couples. But we're now seeing a sea change shift in demand for apartments, and we're seeing downsizes and families now looking at apartments as being, a lifestyle preference, not just an affordability choice. And I think this is part of what's driven that supply cycle as well, and will continue to do in Sydney. And I believe that by 2030, Sydney will have more apartments than houses. So we will become a city, and there's not a lot to go to do that. We will become a city of apartment dwellers. And it is the international experience. There's been international trends in, big cities such as New York and London, and, big, large Chinese cities for decades. So, of course, we are an international city, and there's no surprise that we developed that international profile. But the supply cycle, given all that demand, is certainly right now at its absolute peak. And when we look at supply, particularly of apartments, this year so far, Sydney has approved 5,000 fewer units than for the same period last year. So even though we're at the peak of the completion cycle for apartments, there's nothing coming in behind. And this is another factor, I guess, that savvy buyers will focus on, is that what's here now is not going to be replaced in anywhere near the same volumes as we've seen or that we have currently. So, and that's all part of the cycle of supply, which never meets demand in real time.